In a conversation among friends, the question arises, which car would you choose if money wasn't an issue? Often, Ferrari, Lamborghini, and Porsche are mentioned. However, not everyone can afford these luxury cars. There are intermediate options that combine luxury and a more friendly price. One of the most notable is Mercedes-Benz. This German automaker has a unique trajectory. The three-point star on the hood is a global symbol of automotive excellence. Its cars are seen as the pinnacle of engineering and construction. Mercedes has an impressive legacy. It invented the first assembly line car and shined on the racetracks. With this, it established a reputation for innovation and gained admirers worldwide. For years, it led in luxury vehicle sales. However, the past doesn't guarantee the future. With electric cars on the rise and brands like Tesla gaining young admirers, Mercedes faces challenges. Renewal is crucial to remain desired by the next generations. Mercedes-Benz is globally recognized, facing robust competition from Italian brands like Ferrari and Lamborghini, and British brands like Rolls-Royce, Bentley, and Aston Martin. In Germany, its main competitors are Porsche, BMW, and Audi. But while many automakers have interesting histories, Mercedes stands out with a unique trajectory closely linked to the evolution of the automobile. Although officially founded in 1926, the roots of Mercedes trace back to decades earlier, stemming from the vision of Gottlieb Daimler and Carl Benz. Both were innovators. Carl Benz, in particular, is often credited by many as the inventor of the first automobile. In 1886, he designed and patented a vehicle that many consider the first car in history, a motor-powered tricycle. To commercialize his invention, Benz created the Benz and Cie Company. It was here that the world saw the first automobile assembly line. Gottlieb Daimler, on the other hand, had a similar passion for engines and automobiles. With his vast experience and alongside William Maybach, he took on the challenge of transforming a traditional horse-drawn carriage into a motorized vehicle. The success of this project led to the founding of DMG, a company that quickly gained prominence in the world of engines and automotive engineering. Illustrating the excellence of German engineering, a landmark event took place. It was a race that stretched from Paris to Rouen. In this pioneering event, 21 vehicles challenged each other over 123 kilometers. Of the 17 that crossed the finish line, an impressive 9 cars had engines designed by DMG. This event was not only a testimony to Daimler's engine superiority but also an announcement of Germany as an emerging automotive power. In 1926, a transformative merger occurred. Daimler's company, DMG, and Benz's company, Benz and Cie, joined forces. Daimler-Benz was born. Until that moment, Mercedes was just the name of a DMG model. But with the merger, the name and legacy of Carl Benz were incorporated, and Mercedes-Benz became the brand we know today. Mercedes-Benz's involvement in racing didn't stop after its foundation. Racing was and still is a crucial platform for the automaker to showcase its excellence. One car in particular, the 300 SL, became iconic. It was unmistakable with its gullwing doors. This model not only triumphed in Le Mans in 1952 but also on other European circuits. The 300 SL was later unveiled to the public in 1954 and quickly won hearts and roads. This commercial success cemented Mercedes-Benz's reputation as synonymous with cutting-edge engineering and quality construction. However, Mercedes faced a trial in 1955. A horrific accident during a race in France caused several deaths. In response, Mercedes withdrew from racing. It returned only in 1989, initially in endurance races. The 90s were thrilling for the brand. They began supplying engines for Formula One, collaborating with McLaren. However, in 2010, they made a bold move. They acquired the Brawn GP team, marking the full return of Mercedes-Benz to racing. The decision paid off, as they've clinched several titles since. Mercedes-Benz isn't just about speed. It's about innovation. They pioneered various technologies like airbags and ABS brakes. These innovations set them apart, establishing them as leaders. Lastly, Mercedes-Benz is seen by many as a symbol of reliability. This is evidenced in AMG, their high-performance division. Here, the focus is on powerful models, many of which have engines assembled manually by a dedicated engineer. The history of Mercedes-Benz is undoubtedly filled with achievements. But, like any industry leader, challenges exist. The big question remains, with its rich history, can Mercedes stay ahead? In the 90s, the brand held prestige. It was associated with expensive cars and an older audience. Seeking to change this perception and compete with Volkswagen's Golf and Audi's A3, in 1997 Mercedes launched the A-Class. This car, the smallest and most affordable in the brand's lineup at the time, earned the nickname Baby Benz. For many, it was Mercedes' attempt to enter the market of more popular cars. However, in Brazil, its initial price was 3 times that of a Fiat Uno. This model was innovative. It was the first car from the brand with front-wheel drive. It also featured a distinct structure, the sandwich platform. This structure elevated the occupant's seating position. In the event of a collision, the engine and gearbox shifted downward, enhancing safety. Expectations for the A-Class were high, both in Europe and elsewhere. With so much optimism, Mercedes decided to produce it outside of Germany. Brazil was chosen, and in 1999, the automaker inaugurated a factory in Juiz de Fora. They planned to produce 70,000 units per year. However, they faced issues beforehand. In 1998, a Swedish magazine conducted the Moose test. In this test, an animal crossing the road is simulated, requiring quick maneuvers. The A-Class tipped over. The incident damaged Mercedes' reputation and caused losses. The car's design, resembling a minivan, didn't attract the younger audience, and sales didn't take off. By 2005, they had produced only 63,000 units in Brazil, less than what they had hoped to sell in a year. Today, Mercedes still manufactures the A-Class, in hatch and sedan versions. Its design and price have changed, costing around 350,000 Brazilian reais. However, this wasn't the brand's only adversity. In 1998, Daimler-Benz merged with American company Chrysler, forming Daimler Chrysler AG. This deal cost Germans $36 billion. The goal was to create synergies and expand sales, especially in the US. But after further investments, Daimler sold Chrysler for a much lower value. While Mercedes faced challenges, competitors advanced. BMW, traditionally known for reliable and powerful cars, launched the X5 SUV in 1999. This vehicle initiated a line that now accounts for a third of BMW sales. Audi also stood out. Despite issues in the 80s, it recovered and grew, capturing a significant market share. International brands like Toyota's Lexus solidified their position. In the American market, Lexus is the second best-selling, trailing only BMW. And to complicate matters further, new players emerged, like Tesla, bringing technological advancements. The perception of Mercedes-Benz among consumers seems to be evolving. Every year, the United States Consumers Union publishes an in-depth study. This study involves feedback from hundreds of thousands of consumers, culminating in a specific ranking based on rigorous criteria. In the 80s and 90s, the Mercedes-Benz brand was synonymous with quality and leadership. The name Mercedes was often linked to prestige and consistently secured a top spot in this ranking. However, things began to change. By the late 90s, the brand started experiencing a decline in its position. The 2022 report was particularly revealing, placing the brand in a modest position, 24th to be exact. One could argue that the study doesn't segment car manufacturers by categories. This means high-value automakers like Mercedes are directly compared to more popular brands, whose vehicles have lower maintenance costs. This is one of the evaluation criteria, and, obviously, it can favor more affordable brands. However, when comparing Mercedes with its direct competitors in the luxury segment, the situation doesn't improve much. The brand Lexus, for instance, emerges in an impressive second position. Meanwhile, BMW, another prominent name in the world of luxury cars, comes in third. Audi, despite remaining a strong contender, positions itself in sixth place. A more in-depth analysis revealed some of the reasons behind these numbers. Mercedes has been facing issues with its electronic systems. There are reports indicating that these systems are less reliable than those of its competitors and have a higher failure rate. Naturally, this has consequences impacting ratings and, in turn, sales. In the sales context, BMW has overtaken Mercedes in the last 2 years, becoming the leader in the luxury segment. Audi stands firm in the third position. But there's a brand that, even though it sells fewer units, has generated a lot of discussion: Tesla. Tesla has dominated the electric vehicle market. Mercedes-Benz, on the other hand, took longer to enter this segment and, when it did, couldn't secure an immediate prominent spot. But the company is not standing still. They have recently unveiled ambitious plans to reverse this situation. They are focused on fully electrifying their fleet. The company's CEO, Ola Källenius, shared a bold vision, stating that by the end of the decade, all Mercedes vehicles will be electric. An investment of over $40 billion has been announced to make this a reality. The question that remains is whether Mercedes-Benz, with all its heritage and capability, can overcome these obstacles and renew its image. A CNN report brought a glimpse of hope, highlighting that Mercedes' automated driving system has actually surpassed Tesla's. This might be a strong indicator that the brand, even while facing challenges, hasn't lost its capacity for innovation. Time will tell if Mercedes can regain and even surprise its loyal fans and buyers.